You're spouting nonsense. I don't understand what you're talking about. Yi Bingyu stared at Yun Chujio in disbelief. Her body trembled slightly, and the word, kill, which was as red as blood, suddenly appeared in her mind. It was really done by this bitch's backer? She could actually know such a mighty figure with such high spiritual power? No, that was impossible. She must have said it casually. How could a trash from a low-level continent like her know such a mighty figure? Yun Chujio smiled indifferently and then gestured a few times on the ground with the tip of her toes. Yi Bingyi's face instantly turned as pale as paper. It was her. It was actually her who sent people to warn the Yi family. She couldn't help but tremble. Yi Bingyu, what I said to you today, you'd better keep it in your stomach. Otherwise, Yun Chujio made a hand gesture to slit her throat, then turned around and strolled into Xingtian Academy. Bingyu, what's going on? What did that stinky girl say? Lu Jinluan asked curiously. After a long while, Yi Bingyu finally came back to her senses. She glared at Lu Jinluan coldly. Shut up. Let's go back. After Yi Bingyu finished speaking, she turned around and walked towards the direction of the Huoshi Academy. Lu Jinluan's face flushed red. Lu Pinyin gave Lu Jinluan a comforting glance. Only then did Lu Jinluan put away her angry expression and chased after her. Lu Pinyin's eyes flashed. This Mo Fangchao didn't seem to be simple. She seemed to have something on Yi Bingyu. It seemed like she should get someone to investigate. On the other side, Yun Chujio didn't return to the dormitory. Instead, she came to the Heavenly Dao Cliff. Little Tian, did you miss me? Let me chat with you. Yun Chujio sat cross-legged on the ground and said with a smile. Although the Heavenly Dao Cliff was very happy that Yun Chujio came to chat with it, it still said arrogantly, You little weakling, cultivating well is better than anything else. Why are you chatting with me when you have nothing to do? Yun Chujio knew the arrogant temperament of the Heavenly Dao Cliff, so she didn't take it seriously. She said with a little disappointment, Little Tian, I've encountered a difficult problem. I'm a little uncertain now. The Yi family, which is also my maternal family, invited me over as a guest. Humph. I thought it was a big deal. If you want to go, then go. If you don't want to go, then don't go. What's there to be troubled about? The Heavenly Dao Cliff said disdainfully. Yun Chujio knew that the Heavenly Dao Cliff didn't understand the ways of the world. She just wanted to find someone to talk to. She didn't expect the Heavenly Dao Cliff to give her any ideas. Yun Chujio didn't refute the Heavenly Dao Cliff. Instead, she closed her eyes and began to meditate. Maybe it was because of the Heavenly Dao Cliff, Yun Chujio found that it was easier to calm down and concentrate while cultivating here. The Heavenly Dao Cliff originally thought that Yun Chujio could tell it something interesting, but it did not expect Yun Chujio to start cultivating after just a few words. It could not help but feel disappointed. It began to search for a topic and babbled a few things that it thought were interesting. Unfortunately, Yun Chujio was not interested at all and continued to focus on cultivating. Little girl, why don't you dare to go to the Yi family? Are you afraid that someone will kill you? The Heavenly Dao Cliff decided to start with this topic. Yun Chujio looked at it as if it was an idiot. Of course it's because of this reason. Otherwise, what do you think I'm worried about? The Yi family is a first-class family. I'm only at the 7th level of the Spirit Profound Realm. I don't even know how I died there. Although Old Master Yi would most likely not take her life, he wouldn't care too much either. It was simply a matter of minutes for the Yi family to kill her. Tsk, you're really stupid. Can't you just say that you're a student of the Xingtian Academy? How could the Yi family offend the Xingtian Academy? The Xingtian Academy is under my protection. The Heavenly Dao Cliff said arrogantly. Yun Chujio curled her lips. I'm stupid? The Yi family was a first-class family, and the Yi family was my maternal family. Did you think that the Xingtian Academy would seek justice after my death? In the end, they will definitely let it go. After all, it is unwise to offend a first-class family for the sake of an insignificant shrimp like me. As for you, you are just a decoration. Can you kill or save people? Even if you have great abilities, you can't move. Don't tell me you can fly to the Yi family to help me kill people? When Tiandaoya heard Yun Chujio belittling him, he said unwillingly, "Although I can't move, but..." Tiandaoya hurriedly stopped talking at this point. It was obvious that he regretted saying that he was bald. "But what?" Yun Chujio's eyes flashed, and she asked calmly. But I can help you scold the Yi family. The Yi family is a bunch of bastards." Tiandaoya silently gave himself a thumbs up, and he finally muddled through. "Ah, so you're helping me scold people? I thought you had some heaven-defying ability to help me. Forget it, you're just a dead thing that can't move. In a sense, you're not as good as Wu Yun in the sky. After all, Wu Yun can still move." Yun Chujio said with slight disdain. "I'm not as good as that damn bastard Wu Yun. To tell you the truth, as long as I want to, I can kill whoever I want within a 5,000-kilometer radius. It's just that I don't have the leisure to do so." Tiandaoya roared indignantly. "Bah, who doesn't know how to brag? And you want to kill whoever you want within a radius of 5,000 li? How can you kill a dead thing that can't move?" Heavenly Dao Cliff initially regretted saying that it was bald, but when he saw Yun Chujio questioning it, he said angrily out of embarrassment, "What do you know? Do you think that the golden lights that I used to fight against Wu Yun are just for show? Taking someone's life from 1,000 miles away is just a piece of cake. It's just that I don't want to bear the consequences. Otherwise, when you tricked me back then, I would have killed you. So that's how it is. I knew it. How can the magnificent Heavenly Dao Cliff not be as powerful as Wang Bian? So little Tian, you are so powerful. I really underestimated you." Yun Chujio slapped her thigh and said in surprise. The Heavenly Dao Cliff was extremely proud. "That's right. Otherwise, why do you think I've been standing tall? If I didn't have some means of self-protection, wouldn't all the cats and dogs be able to dig holes in my body? If I didn't have some real abilities, those people with malicious intentions would have long snatched away all the inheritances that I had saved." Yun Chujio smiled as she listened to the Heavenly Dao Cliff's bragging. The Yi family was only 2,000 miles away from the Heaven Punisher Academy and was completely within the range of the Heavenly Dao Cliff's protection. If they had the Heavenly Dao Cliff's help, it wasn't like the Yi family wouldn't be able to barge in. Furthermore, Old Master Yi wouldn't allow her to go for no reason. There must be some secret behind this. Little Tian, let's not beat around the bush. Since you have such heaven-reaching abilities, help me out. I want to go to the Yi family. If my life is in danger, you have to save me once. Don't worry, I won't let you save me for nothing. Just treat it as I owe you a favor. I will repay you in the future." Yun Chujio said straightforwardly and didn't beat around the bush. Tiandao Cliff stuttered for a while. Apparently he was hesitant and didn't want to bear the consequences. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Little Tian, you have even offended Wu Yun. Are you afraid that you will have to bear the consequences? Besides, I don't really need your help. I'm just taking precautions. If you are really in a difficult situation, then forget it. I won't go to the Yi family. Forget it. I promise you. However, try not to use my strength. After all, once I use my ability, it will definitely alarm Tiandao. When that time comes, I will be struck by lightning again. Don't worry. I will only ask you for help unless I have no other choice. By the way, how can I contact you? Yun Chujio was speaking from the bottom of her heart. It was naturally better not to use the Tiandao Cliff since it was her life-saving talisman. A small stone flew towards Yun Chujio from the top of the Tiandao Cliff. Yun Chujio caught it and looked at it. This small stone was ordinary and looked no different from an ordinary stone. I'll teach you a chant. When you're in danger, recite the chant silently. Not only will I know your location, but I'll also be able to communicate with you, said the Tiandao Cliff with some pride. Little Tian, you're really amazing. I was blind in the past, but you're much more powerful than the Qi Ling I've seen before. Yun Chujio said half fawningly and half sincerely. Tiandao Cliff enjoyed it very much. After boasting a few times, he taught the mnemonic to Yun Chujio. In order to verify the authenticity of the mnemonic, Yun Chujio immediately recited the mnemonic after she returned to the dormitory. As expected, Tian Dao Cliff was impatient but actually said in a smug manner, "Little girl, do you have something to do?" "Little Tiantan, I'm just telling you that I've arrived at the dormitory." Yun Chujio's heart was practically blooming with joy. She had originally gone to the Heavenly Dao Cliff to vent her frustrations, but she did not expect that there would be an unexpected surprise. With this treasure, the Yi family would be able to agree when they sent people again. After all, Liu Bei only visited the thatched cottage 3 times. If she did not go now, it would be ungrateful. As expected, half a month later, housekeeper Fu came to see Yun Chujio again. "Miss Cousin, the old master has given me his life this time. He must invite you to the Yi family. Please don't make things difficult for me," housekeeper Fu pleaded. Yun Chujio sneered in her heart and said it politely. However, the guards standing behind her didn't seem to be inviting people. Instead, they seemed to be snatching people. Housekeeper Fu caught a glimpse of Yun Chujio's cold expression from the corner of his eyes. His heart couldn't help but beat faster. Could it be that he still couldn't invite her this time? Then he could only use some tricks. Just as housekeeper Fu was thinking, he heard Yun Chujio say indifferently, "Old Master Yi is my elder, and repeatedly declining it seems that I have no manners. Let me go with you." Housekeeper Fu was stunned, and then quickly said, "That's great. In that case, cousin miss, please." Yun Chujio took out her identity jade token and said to Jin Ji and Shui Wuji, then slowly walked out of Tianluo City. Because Tianluo City prohibited flying, they could only take the flying spirit tool outside the city. "Miss, this time, besides you, Miss Bingyu and young Master Wenhong will also rush back to the Yi family," housekeeper Fu said from the side. The corners of Yun Chujio's mouth curled up. "That's good. I'm old friends with Sister Bingyu. We really hit it off at first sight. So it's because we're related by blood." Housekeeper Fu was stunned. Miss Bingyu was from the WA Stone Academy. How could this Mo Fangchao be old friends with Miss Bingyu? How could they know each other? Besides, Miss Bingyu's personality was very arrogant. Why would she take a fancy to a girl from a third-grade side family? Although housekeeper Fu was very curious, he could not ask too much. Soon, everyone left Tianluo City. Yun Chujio saw Yi Bingyu and a young man from afar. It was probably the Yi Wenhong that housekeeper Fu had mentioned. When they got closer, housekeeper Fu paused and then introduced, "Miss, this is young Master Wenhong of our Yi residence. This is Miss Bingyu of our Yi residence." Yun Chujio could not help but laugh in her heart. This housekeeper Fu was also a shrewd person. She probably did not know whether the Yi family would recognize her or not, so she called her Miss. However, when she introduced Yi Bingyu and Yi Wenhong, she said that they were the Yi family's young master and miss. Moreover, she had clearly told him that she and Yi Bingyu were old acquaintances, yet he still introduced them solemnly. It was obvious that he did not quite believe her words. Yi Wenhong frowned slightly and only nodded without saying anything. It was obvious that he did not take a liking to Yun Chujio. She was merely the daughter of a concubine who had her name removed. He did not know why his great-grandfather insisted on seeing her. Yi Bingyu's feelings were very complicated. If Yun Chujio had not warned her, she would definitely have mocked and ridiculed her. However, when she thought of what Yun Chujio said that day, she felt a chill down her spine. Just when she did not know how to treat Yun Chujio, she heard Yun Chujio say clearly, "Sister Bingyu, we meet again. Ever since we parted last time, I have missed you so much." Yi Bingyu was dumbfounded. Is this Mo Fangchao sick? Before she could react, Yun Chujio had already grabbed her arm. "Sister Bingyu, the last time I saw you in the psychedelic forest, I felt like we were old friends at first sight. I did not expect that we were related by blood. This is really fate." "Mo Fangchao, you don't." Yi Bingyu wanted to scold Yun Chujio for spouting nonsense, but when she saw the warning in Yun Chujio's eyes, she had no choice but to change her words. "Don't mess around, it's not proper." "Sister Bingyu, why is your face so red? Could it be that you're happy to see me?" Alright, I won't tease you anymore. Anyway, we can be together for the next 3 days. Just thinking about it makes me very happy, Yun Chujio said with a smile. Happy my ass. What kind of bad water was this little bitch taking this time? Although Yi Bingyu wanted to strangle Yun Chujio to death, she did not dare to shed all pretense of cordiality. She could only let Yun Chujio hold her arm and board the flying spirit tool with a stiff expression. Yi Wenhong was very puzzled. The last time they met on the street, didn't Bingyu still want to settle the score with this Mo Fangchao? How did they become best friends again? Bingye's personality was very arrogant. If they didn't really have a good relationship, why would she let that Mo Fangchao hold her arm? Everyone had their own thoughts, so they all boarded the flying spirit tools. Yi City, where the Yi family was located, was only 2,000 miles away from Tianluo City. They could reach there in 4 hours at most. On the flying spirit tools, Yun Chujio and Yi Bingyu were chatting enthusiastically. Sister Bingyu, what is the content of the Spirit Power class in your Hua Stone Academy? Is it also a Spirit Power Phantom technique? Yes. Sister Bingyu, then are your 5 techniques of cultivators also talking about the theoretical basis? Yes. Sister Bingyu, are your new students also divided into the day class, the moon class, and the star class? Yes. Housekeeper Fu and Yi Wenhong both felt that the relationship between Yi Bingyu and Mo Fangchao was very strange. It seemed that Yi Bingyu was obviously unwilling to talk to Mo Fangchao, but she just sat there obediently. What was going on? Yi Bingyu felt so aggrieved that she wanted to vomit blood. She had lived for so long, and the humiliation she had suffered was all because of this Mo Fangchao in front of her. However, she had a strong backer. That person was able to do all those things without alerting the guards of the Yi family. It was as easy as flipping over her hand to kill all the members of the Yi family. Therefore, she could only grit her teeth and endure. When she heard that the flying spirit tool was about to arrive outside Yi City, Yi Bingyu said impatiently, Mo Fangchao, we have arrived at Yi City. Let's chat again when we have time. Yun Chujio curled the corners of her lips and followed Yi Bingyu to get off the flying spirit tool. Yun Chujio looked at the 2 big words, Yi City, on the city gate and could not help but laugh at herself. The Yun family was also located in Yi City. It was just that they had the same pronunciation but different words. It was really an unfortunate fate. However, since the city's name was Yi City, it could be seen how powerful the Yi family was. The guards at the city gates saw Yi Bingyu and Yi Wenhong and bowed respectfully to greet them. They were also very respectful to housekeeper Fu, which further proved the power of the Yi family. Yi City was very prosperous, and its scale was also very large. The group walked for a full hour before they arrived in front of an ancient mansion. The plaque at the manor door was written with the words Yi Manor written in ancient characters. Several guards stood at the door. Yun Chujio could not help but be secretly happy. Under normal circumstances, there were only a few people guarding the door, but the Yi Manor had sent so many guards. It was probably because the gigolo had scared them last time. Miss Cousin, they'll first have someone bring you to the guest house to wash up and rest, then go and pay a visit to the old master. What do you think? Housekeeper Fu asked respectfully. The guest can do as the host wishes. Naturally, it is possible. However, I remember housekeeper Fu saying that if I were to come to the Yi residence, he would let me live in the courtyard where my mother once lived. When Yun Chujio said this, her pitch-black eyes stared at housekeeper Fu and did not continue speaking. Housekeeper Fu's heart froze. Although he was a servant, the position of the head housekeeper of a first-class family was not much different from that of the master of a second-class family. Therefore, he was also a person who had seen big scenes. He could only be at a loss when facing the old master, but in front of this cousin young lady with low spiritual power, it made him break out in cold sweat repeatedly. Could it be because she looked similar to Miss Lan? Housekeeper Fu did not say anything, but Yi Bingyu could not help but say with slight mockery, Mo Fangchao, you actually have designs on Xiaohua Garden? I advise you to save your breath. That's Sister Bingying's residence. Sister Bingying is the pride of our Yi family. She only used 3 years to graduate from the Hua Stone Academy, and she's about to become an outer disciple of the Primordial Chaos sect. You're competing with her. You're simply overestimating yourself. Yun Chujie's heart moved. She was actually so proud to become an outer disciple of the primordial chaos sect. It seemed that a first-class family like the Yi family was indeed incomparable to super sects like the primordial chaos sect and the Shiyuan sect. Yun Chujie's expression was still as calm as ever. Sister Bingyu, I know that you're doing this for my own good. I appreciate it. Housekeeper Fu, have you entered a meditative state? Housekeeper Fu's old face flushed red as he stammered, Miss Cousin, regarding the matter of the residence, I still need to consult Old Master first. Please come to the guest house to rest for a while. Yun Chujio smiled, why bother? I have a close relationship with Sister Bingyu. I will go to her courtyard and wait for the news. Yi Bingyu staggered and almost vomited blood. She was about to object when she saw Yun Chujio looking at her with her bright eyes. She could only squeeze out a sentence from between her teeth, all right, then, go to my place. Chapter 2286. Old Master Yi Wenhong and Housekeeper Fu looked at Yi Bingyu in surprise. Her relationship with Mo Fangchao was actually that good? Sister Bingyu, let's go quickly. I can't wait to visit your courtyard. Yun Chujio said with some excitement. Yi Bingyu was extremely angry and left with Yun Chujio with a stiff face. Housekeeper Fu, I'll go back and change my clothes. Then I'll go and pay my respects to great-grandfather. Yi Wenhong knew that Housekeeper Fu would definitely report the matter of Mo Fangchao to Old Master Yi, so he found an excuse. Housekeeper Fu naturally understood Yi Wenhong's intention and said respectfully, this humble one will report it to Old Master. This humble one will take his leave. Housekeeper Fu quickly walked to a courtyard of the Yi residence and arrived outside the study room. He bowed and said, Old Master, this humble one is back. Come in. A voice that sounded like a loud bell came from inside. After Housekeeper Fu entered the study room, he bowed and said, Old Master, this little one has brought the young miss back. There was an old man sitting behind the desk. When he heard Housekeeper Fu's words, his expression did not change. He only slightly raised his eyebrows. Did you forcefully bring her back or did she come of her own accord? After I explained the purpose of my visit, Housekeeper Fu said that it would be impolite of her to refuse again. She agreed to come with me without hesitation. The old man took a sip of tea. The little girl is sensible. She knows that I don't have much patience anymore. Housekeeper Fu raised his head and glanced at the old man. The old man glanced at him. What else is there? Miss Cousin and Miss Bingyu seem to have known each other before, and their relationship seems to be quite good. In addition, after entering the manor just now, Miss Cousin mentioned Miss Lan's courtyard. I said that I can only give her an answer after reporting to you. She knows Bingyu? How could they know each other? Bingyi's personality is the most arrogant. How could she take a fancy to that little girl, Mo Fangchao? She wants to live in Xiaohua Garden? Rather than asking Housekeeper Fu, it was more like he was talking to himself. What do you think of the little girl? This little one doesn't dare to talk about Master, Housekeeper Fu said fearfully. But it's okay to say it. Moreover, it's still unknown whether she is Master or not. Miss Cousin's appearance is 70% similar to Miss Lan's. Occasionally, the aura she gives off is also very similar to Miss Lan's. This little one can't help but feel a little afraid. As for her temperament, this little one really can't quite understand it. Miss Cousin is occasionally outgoing and occasionally quiet. However, she doesn't seem to be very interested in entering the Yi residence. Housekeeper Fu deliberated over his own judgment. The old man knocked on the table with his finger. Although Yi Fu was a servant, he had seen the world and was actually unable to judge the true temperament of that little girl. It seemed that the little girl was either too simple, or her thoughts were extremely deep. She and the Lan girl were mother and daughter, so they naturally had some similarities. It was just that he did not know whether the similarities were the good part or the disappointing part. Housekeeper Fu saw that the old man did not speak for a long time and asked tentatively, Old Master, now that young Miss has gone to young Miss Bingye's courtyard to rest, what do you think is the next step? Old Master was truly shocked. Bing Yu actually agreed to go to her courtyard to rest? Every time the Lu family's girl came, Bing Yu did not stay over. She actually agreed to Mo Fong Chao go to her courtyard? That's absolutely true. Moreover, the two of them chatted very warmly on the flying spirit tool. It's just that Miss Cousin said a lot, but Miss Bing Yu said less, Housekeeper Fu replied. Chapter 2287. Bringing a wolf into the house. Great-grandfather Yi rapped on the desk even faster. Send someone to call Bing Yu over. I'll ask her what's going on. Yes. At this moment, Yi Bingyu was gnashing her teeth and growling in a low voice. Mo Fong Chao, don't go too far. I don't welcome you here. Go and stay in the guest house. Yun Chujio crossed her legs and ate the snacks while drinking tea. She said slowly, Sister Bingyu, we are good sisters who hit it off at first sight. How could you have the heart to kick me out? Nonsense. You are my enemy. What do you want? Yi Bingyu deeply understood what it meant to invite a wolf into the house. This was a vicious wolf. Sister Bingyu, it's not that I want anything. It's your great-grandfather who insisted on me coming over. I also want to know what he wants. If my guess is right, your great-grandfather will soon summon you. If you don't want to lose your life and the Yi family to be destroyed, then just do as I taught you. Yun Chujio dipped her finger in some tea and wrote the word, kill, on the table. Yi Bingyu was both angry and afraid. You, why are you targeting our Yi family? Could it be that you were expelled from our Yi family to take revenge on your mother? Yun Chujio was stunned at first, since she laughed. Sister Bingyu, you're thinking too much. I'm just trying to protect myself. Since you have the ability to question me, why don't you familiarize yourself with the lines I taught you? If you fail, you'll be the Yi family's sinner for all eternity. Yi Bingyu was only a young lady in her early 20s. Her family had always been pampered, so how could she possibly win against a certain Jiao who had full Black Lotus skills? Instantly, her psychological defense crumbled. As she cried, she recited the lines Yun Chujio taught her. Yun Chujio touched her nose. Was there a mistake? You were the one who shouted at me to kill you. I merely retaliated. Did you have to make it so miserable? Don't cry. Your eyes are red. How do you explain it? Yun Chujio slapped the table. Yi Bingyu wiped her tears with her hand. What's the big deal? I just said that I cried because I heard about your background. Isn't that more like it? Yun Chujio choked. Yi Bingyu had learned to infer from one thing? It would be a waste not to act. Yi Bingyu had just memorized the lines when a maid came to say that the old master had summoned her. Sister Bingyu, I believe in you. You can definitely act well in this scene. Otherwise, TSK, you know what to do. Yun Chujio took a bite of the dessert and said with a smile. Yi Bingyu saw her smile, but felt a chill run down her back. She bit her lips and left. Yun Chujio watched her back, and her eyes gradually darkened. What exactly did the old master Yi want to do? According to Yi Bingyu, Yi Bingying lived in Xiaohua Garden. Yi Bingying could be said to be the pride of the Yi family. Would old master Yi chase Yi Bingying out of Xiaohua Garden for the sake of his daughter who was kicked out of the family? If she really did that, it would mean that her value was even greater than that heavenly daughter, Yi Bingying. But what value could she have? Her father's family was only a distant branch of a third-class family. Her own spiritual power was also not enough. Her birth mother was already dead, so what value could she have? Yun Chujio could not figure it out no matter how much she thought, so she decided to wait and see. On the other side, Yi Bingyu had already arrived at Old Master Yi's study. Old Master Yi saw Yi Bingyi's red and swollen eyes and could not help but be stunned. Bingyu girl, what's wrong with your eyes? Chapter 2288, Interrogation. Yi Bingyu sighed. Great-grandfather, I was a little sad when I heard about Sister Fangkeo's experience, so I couldn't help but shed a few tears. What experience made you so sad? Old Master Yi frowned. The Bingyu girl was not a soft-hearted person. What was going on? After Sister Fangchao was born, she was reduced to a low-grade continent called the Qingxian continent. If her adoptive parents had not picked her up, she would have been fed to the demon beasts. Unfortunately, when she was 8 years old, her adoptive parents had gone missing. Adding insult to injury, she had a tanned face at that time. Coupled with the fact that she could not cultivate, she was simply miserable. After experiencing many hardships, she finally returned to the Western continent, and then to the Eastern continent. Perhaps because they were related by blood, when I heard what she said, I also felt uncomfortable. As Yi Bingyu spoke, her tears fell again. When old Master Yi saw that Yi Bingyu was crying so sadly, the suspicion in his heart was somewhat dispelled. How could he know that Yi Bingyu was crying because she remembered how miserably she was threatened by Yun Chujio? How did you and Mo Fangchao meet? Tell me honestly, old Master Yi asked seriously. If it wasn't for Yun Chujio's psychological work beforehand, Yi Bingyu would definitely tell the truth because she was intimidated by old Master Yi's majesty. But now, she was already intimidated by Yun Chujio, so she could only say according to Yun Chujio's lines, "Great-grandfather, didn't I go to the enchanted forest to look for the rainbow crystal mushroom a few days ago? It was there that I met Mo Fangchao. At that time, we were very unhappy. However, I saw that her appearance was somewhat similar to mine, so I didn't have the heart to kill her. Later on, I met her again in Tianluo City. At that time, I even quarreled with her on the street. Later on, I heard that she was Aunt Lan's daughter. It turned out that she was my cousin, so I went to look for her. Perhaps it was because of the blood relationship, when I saw her again, I no longer hated her that much. Moreover, she was very good at talking. Although I didn't particularly like her, I didn't dislike her that much. Most importantly, great-grandfather, you must have had your own plans for letting her come. I couldn't go against your wishes, so I tolerated her. But when we were chatting just now, she told me about her childhood experiences, and I felt that she was quite pitiful." Yi Bingyu said the lines with great passion, and she even added one last line. Great-grandfather Yi had already met Yi Wenhong just now. Yi Wenhong had mentioned the scene on Tianluo City Street, and it was indeed the same as what Yi Bingyu had said. Old Master Yi believed Yi Bingyi's words 80%, especially when Yi Bingyu had said to endure the Mo Fangchao. This could explain why Yi Bingyi's expression was stiff when she looked at the Mo Fangchao. How did that little girl perform when she arrived at your courtyard? Old Master Yi continued to ask. Yi Bingyi's heart was shocked. It was actually the same as what Mo Fangchao had guessed. Her great-grandfather had actually asked this question. Great-grandfather, that Mo Fangchao might have come from the lower continent, so her etiquette was a little lacking. After arriving at my courtyard, she didn't stand on ceremony at all. She had already eaten 2 plates of pastries. She even said that before she left, she wanted me to give her more pastries, Yi Bingyu said with slight disdain. Is there anything else unusual? Other than talking about her childhood experiences, she didn't ask about that last lawn? Not really. I guess she hasn't had the time to ask, Yi Bingyu said respectfully. Chapter 2289 wanted to become a successor disciple. Great-grandfather Yi asked Yi Bingyu a few more questions. Then he said, "You did a good job on this matter. The family's interests are first. Don't mention any personal grudges in the future. After lunch, accompany Mo Fangchao and come over. I want to see her." Although great-grandfather Yi believed 80% of Yi Bingyi's words, he still did not quite believe that part of the psychedelic forest. He felt that Yi Bingyu had most likely suffered a loss at Mo Fangchao's hands, so he let go of Mo Fangchao. Yi Bingyu nodded obediently and then left old Master Yi's study. When Yi Bingyu returned to the courtyard, she saw Yun Chujio lazily basking in the sun. After seeing Yi Bingyu, she said weakly, "Sister Bingyu, you're finally back. I'm starving. Quickly get someone to prepare lunch." Are you a pig? You only know how to eat all day long. Didn't you already eat 2 plates of snacks? Yi Bingyu said unhappily. Yun Chujio said with a smile, "How can snacks be food? Besides, I came to the Yi family once. You can't let me go hungry, right?" Yi Bingyu glared at her fiercely and then asked the maid to go to the canteen to get food. Yun Chujio followed Yi Bingyu into the house. Yi Bingyu was originally waiting for Yun Chujio to ask her about old Master Yi. She didn't expect Yun Chujio to take out a handful of melon seeds and munch on them. She had no intention of asking her at all. Yi Bingyu could not hold it in any longer. Why don't you ask me about what happened? Yun Chujio glanced at her. You came back all of a sudden, and there is no special expression on your face. Then everything is going smoothly. Since that's the case, why should I ask you? It's not like I have nothing to do. Yi Bingyu was rendered speechless by the rebuke. She opened her mouth and snorted coldly. To tell you the truth, great-grandfather might not acknowledge you. Don't be complacent too early. Yun Chujio looked at her as if she was an idiot. What's there to be proud of? Let me tell you, I don't even care about the Yi family. My goal is to become a true disciple of a super sect like the Primordial Chaos sect and the Killing Origin sect. When that time comes, I still have to consider if the Yi family wants to carry my shoes. Yi Bingyu was stunned at first, then she laughed so hard that tears flowed down her face. Mo Fangchao, are you out of your mind? A true disciple? Even with Yi Bingying's outstanding talent, she is only an outer disciple of the Hunyuan sect. Don't even dream about it. Yun Chujio smiled. Everyone has their own dreams. 7 years ago, I was just a good-for-nothing who could not cultivate. Now, I have entered the Xingtian Academy. As long as I want to, there's nothing I can't do. If you don't believe me, well, just wait and see. Well, just wait and see. Who doesn't know how to boast? Yi Bingyu was very unwilling to admit it, however. She felt that Yun Chujio, who was exuding a confident glow at this moment, was indeed much more beautiful than her. In fact, she was even more beautiful than everyone she had ever met. While the two of them were eating, housekeeper Fu came over and said that old Master Yi had an urgent matter to attend to. He asked Yun Chujio to meet him at night. Seeing that Yun Chujio nodded in agreement, housekeeper Fu left in a hurry. Yun Chujio and Yi Bingyu had lunch. While they were drinking tea, Yi Bingyi's maid, Lu Li, rushed in with a maid. The maid said anxiously, "Miss, old madam called madam over to set the rules again. I don't think we can be friendly today. You should hurry over and take a look." Chapter 2290. The otaku drama. Yi Bingyu immediately stood up and her eyebrows were raised. That old pious woman only knows how to bully my mother all day long. Why didn't she let my aunt set the rules? She's still bullying my mother. As Yi Bingyu spoke, she walked out. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes as if the otaku drama was about to begin. How could such a fun thing be without her? Thus, this guy shamelessly followed behind Yi Bingyu. Yi Bingyu was now worried that her mother would be punished by the old Madame Gusher, so how could she care about Yun Chujio? Those maids did not know Yun Chujio's identity, so naturally, they could not say anything. Thus, Yun Chujio generously followed behind Yi Bingyu and entered the Gusher's courtyard, which was also Yi Bingyi's grandmother's courtyard. As soon as she entered the courtyard, she heard a sharp voice from inside the house saying, "Our Jiong is really unlucky to have married you. He can't even give birth to a son, and he's not allowed to have concubines. Beat him up, beat him up." Yi Bingyi's eyes were red with anger. She ignored the maid at the door and rushed in, while Yun Chujio followed behind her. There was an old lady sitting in the main seat of the house. In fact, it was an old lady. She looked like a middle-aged woman. She was dressed luxuriously and looked mean. There was a lady kneeling on the ground. She had a beautiful face and looked delicate. There was an old lady standing next to her with a ruler in her hand. The ruler was raised and it looked like she was going to slap the lattice right hand. Yi Bingyu seemed to have gone crazy. She pushed that old woman away and went to pull the madam who was kneeling. "Mother, get up. You didn't do anything wrong. Why are you kneeling? How dare you? Minshir, look at the good daughter you raised. The elders are talking about things and she's giving orders. She doesn't have any rules of a large family." Gu Shi threw the teacup in her hand at that madam's face. Yi Bingyu supported her mother and dodged to the side. The teacup fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. Gu Shi became even more furious when she saw this. "You're rebelling. You're really rebelling against the heavens. If you don't have any rules like this, you shouldn't have gone to Xingtian Academy. You should have found a husband and married off. Do you think you can compare with Bingying? You're just as useless as your mother who can't give birth to a son. Yun Chujio listened with relish. Oh my, I didn't expect Yi Bingyu to be so powerful outside, but at home, she's just a doormat. This Gu Shi should be Yi Lan's mother-in-law. With one look, it was obvious that she wasn't a good person. Perhaps Yi Lan's expulsion was her doing. Yun Chujio stood in a corner. She even deliberately lowered her head. In addition, everyone in the room was focused on the mother and daughter of the Min family, so no one noticed her. They all thought that she was Yi Bingyi's maid. Yi Bingyu still wanted to argue, but that madam, also known as the Min family, forced her to kneel down. Mother, it's all the daughter-in-law's fault. Bingyu, quickly admit your mistake to grandmother. Yi Bingyu saw that the Min family was looking at her pleadingly. She could only grit her teeth and say, Grandmother, I was wrong. I shouldn't have been rude to you. Gu Shi pursed her lips. No matter how lively the little girl was, as long as she held on to the Min family, wouldn't she have to obediently admit her mistake? Enough, get up. Otherwise, you'll think that I, the mother-in-law and grandmother, am bullying you and your daughter. Min Shi, this unfilial behavior is the greatest of all. It's one thing that you didn't give Xiong a man and a woman, but you actually coaxed him not to take in concubines. This is truly outrageous. However, since my foolish son is willing, I can't count for much. I heard that the old master wants to place that little bastard under your second son's name. Min Shi, if you dare to agree to this matter, I will immediately take a concubine for Xiong. Chapter 2291, You old slut. Yun Chujio thought about it. That little slut should be talking about her, right? Hikiske. It seemed that this Gu Shi regarded her as a thorn in her side. She didn't know if she was the one who sent the assassin. Mother, grandfather arranged this matter. I, as a junior, how would we dare to refute it? Min Shi said with difficulty. Gu Shi slapped the table. Don't tell me that it's useless. If you really agree to that little bastard being recorded under your second son's name, I won't let you off. Not only will Xiong get a concubine, but Bingyu also won't have to go to Xingtian Academy. She can just find someone similar and marry him. Yi Bingyu was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Grandmother, great-grandfather and grandfather won't allow you to do this. Gu Shi sneered. What they are doing is a big matter. Don't tell me that their grown men will interfere in the marriage and funeral. I'm just looking for someone good on the surface for you. There are shady people in the house. How can grown men know? You mother and daughter better be smarter. As long as you obediently mess up this matter, I won't mistreat you. Otherwise, itching. Speaking of which, sooner or later, I will be in charge of this Yi family. A woman whose family doesn't value her. What status do you think you will have when you go to the in-laws family? A terrified look appeared on Min Shi's face. She only had Yi Bingyu as her precious daughter. If Gu Shi really married her into a bad family, then her life would be ruined. The more Min Shi thought about it, the more afraid she became. She was about to kneel down and beg for mercy. Right at this moment, she heard someone giggle. Immediately after, a crisp laughter rang out like a silver bell. Only then did Yi Bingyu realize that Yun Chujio was also in the room. Before she had the time to speak, she saw Gu Shi slam the table. Impudent! Where are you from as a servant? Take him away and give him 50 strokes of the cane. TSK, I heard that the Yi family is a first-class family. This madam's behavior is really an eye-opener. She beat up her daughter-in-law, insulted her granddaughter, and even beat up a guest. In my opinion, it's even worse than a third-class family. Yun Chujio slowly walked out from the corner. Gu Shi was shocked when she saw Yun Chujio's appearance. Yi Lan? No, Yi Lan is already dead. Or you? I'm sorry, I happen to be the little bitch you're talking about. I wonder if you're surprised to see me. Are you surprised? Yun Chujio found an empty chair and sat down. She crossed her legs and said with a smile. The people in the room froze. She said she was a little bitch? Is this person crazy? Besides, who asked you to sit down? You're acting too familiar. But it's true. She can even shamelessly enter the house, so what's the point of sitting down? Old Madame Gu thought about how Yun Chujio heard what she just said and couldn't help but feel embarrassed and angry. However, she didn't think it was a big deal. It just so happened that the old master wasn't around, so she directly dismissed this little bastard. As expected of a mother and a child. The Lan family is a bastard. The Yi Lan that she gave birth to is also not a good thing. You are also a bastard who has no family education. Old Madame Ji said viciously. I've really learned something. A person who keeps calling others a bitch actually said that others have no upbringing. TSKSK, I wonder if you used some kind of method to climb into my grandfather's bed back then. Otherwise, why would my grandfather marry an old bitch like you? Although Yun Chujio was thick-skinned, it did not mean that she would endure it if someone scolded her grandmother and mother. Old Lady Gu was so angry that she almost lost her breath. She picked up the teapot on the table and threw it at Yun Chujio. Chapter 2292 Killing Intent. Yun Chujio reached out and caught the teapot. She picked up the teacup on the table and poured a cup, sipping it. Good tea. Old Madame Gu, I'm not as uneducated as you. After all, you're older than me, so I'd better not call you an old bitch. Originally, I really didn't have much interest in the Yi family, but when I saw how badly the Yi family was ruined by you, if I didn't come to exorcise evil and catch ghosts, I'm afraid the Yi family would have been destroyed by your hands. You little bitch. You're courting death. Men, tie her up and beat her to death. Gu Shi was so angry that she gnashed her teeth. This little bitch was indeed as detestable as that bitch Yi Lan. Grandmother, Feng Chao is my great-grandfather. Shut up. Otherwise I'll beat you up as well. What are you all standing there for? Beat her up. If there's any consequences, I'll bear it. Before Yi Bingyu could finish her words, she was interrupted by Gu Shi, who was exasperated. The old woman who was holding the ruler earlier clearly wanted to curry favor with Gu Shi. She pounced towards Yun Chujio with a sinister smile on her face, and the ruler in her hand struck towards Yun Chujio's head. Yun Chujio's eyes deepened. This old woman really wanted her life. If this ruler struck her head, she would definitely die. She really deserved to die. Yun Chujio raised her hand towards the old woman and then jumped to the side. She only heard the old woman scream, "My eyes." Yun Chujio had already jumped behind the old woman and kicked her waist. The old woman was directly kicked into the courtyard. Everyone could not react in time. That old woman was at the 6th level of the Ling Xian realm. How could she be kicked away by a little girl at the 1st level of the Ling Xian realm in one move? Everyone looked at the red powder on the ground. This should be poison, right? So the little girl used poison to win. This was no wonder. Useless thing. All of you attack together and take down this little bitch. Gu Shi said in exasperation. This little bitch was just as arrogant as Yi Lan. She had to kill her today. Yi Bingyu watched from the side. Although she did not like Yun Chujio, she disliked Yi Shi even more. She winked at the Min Shi. Mother and daughter were united. Min Shi understood and blocked Yi Bingyu behind her. Yi Bingyu quietly took out the sound transmission talisman and sent a message to the old Master Yi. When the old Master Yi received the message, he would naturally think of a way to stop the Gu Shi. At this moment, Yun Chujio was already surrounded by 2 old women and 4 maids. I'm warning you. If any of you dare to touch a single hair on my head today, I'll take your dog lives. Yun Chujio held a large kitchen knife in her hand and said coldly. The maids could not help but take a few steps back. The maids were still better off. The 2 maids had suffered a lot from Yi Lan back then. When they saw Yun Chujio who looked similar to Yi Lan, they felt a little apprehensive. At this moment, the sound transmission talisman in Gu Shi's storage ring started to vibrate. After Gu Shi sent her spiritual sense in, her husband, Yuanliang's voice came from inside. If you dare to touch Feng Chao girl, I'm not done with you. Gu Shi's anger was already high to begin with. Now that she heard Yi Yuanliang's words, it only added fuel to the fire. She felt that she had to kill this Mo Feng Chao today, or else there would be trouble in the future. As for Yi Yuanliang's words, she had already given birth to 2 sons and a daughter. Could he really divorce her? A bunch of trash. If you don't make a move, your entire family will die. Gu Shi said ferociously. This little bastard looked even more like that Yilan. She had to die today. Chapter 2293, Reversal for the lives of their family members. Those female servants naturally did not dare to hesitate any longer and pounced towards Yun Chujio. Yi Bingyu clenched her teeth anxiously at the side, thinking to herself, what was wrong with great-grandfather? How did he worsen the situation? She could only secretly send a voice transmission talisman to old Master Yi. The Yi family was a first-class family, and even these female servants' spiritual powers were mostly around the 6th layer of the Ling Xian realm. Yun Chujio knew that if she continued to be entangled like this, she would definitely be at a disadvantage. She rolled her eyes. To catch a thief, first catch the king. No matter what, she had to catch that old devout woman first. Thinking of this, Yun Chujio suddenly shouted, Old Master Yi, why are you here? Those maids and old women subconsciously looked at the door, and Yun Chujio took advantage of this time to jump to Gu Shi's side. Gu Shi was already feeling guilty, so when she looked up at the door, Yun Chujio's big kitchen knife was placed on her neck. Don't move. Otherwise, I'll send you to see my grandmother. Yun Chujio said coldly. She heaved a sigh of relief in her heart. This Gu Shi's spiritual power was not low, and it was also because she was unprepared that she was able to succeed. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to restrain her. Even in her dreams, Jishir had never thought that she would be restrained by a little girl at the 1st layer of the spiritual profound realm, not to mention this little bastard. This was simply a great humiliation. Yi Bingyi's eyes lit up. She could not wait for Yun Chujio's hand to slip and kill Gu Shi directly. Although this person was her grandmother, from the time she could remember, she had been torturing the Minshi. If not for her strong character, she reckoned that the mother and daughter would have suffered even more. You're courting death. Quickly let go of me. Gu Shi was both angry and afraid. If I let go of you, then I'm courting death. Old Madam Gu, I really want to dig out your heart to see if it's black. You say that you can actually humiliate your own daughter-in-law and granddaughter like that? Do you think you're still human? I heard the hidden meaning in your words. You can't wait for old Master Yi to die early. You're really a vicious woman. There's probably something wrong with my grandfather's gaze. Even marrying a fool is 100 times better than marrying a vicious woman like you. Yi Bingyu was about to applaud Yun Chujio. This was a vicious and pious old woman. Although Minshi was also very appeased in her heart, she still had to do what she had to do on the surface. Thus, she said with a trembling voice, Feng of this is all a misunderstanding. Please let the old madam go. Of course, Yun Chujio knew that Minshi's words were just for show. She pursed her lips and ignored Minshi. Minshi could not wait for Yun Chujio to ignore her. With a cry, she fainted. Mother! Mother! Are you all right? Woo-woo mother, Yi Bingyu shouted at the side as she saved Minshi. The corners of Yun Chujio's eyes twitched. It turned out that this Minshi was still a good actor. No wonder even though she had not given birth to a son for so many years, she still did not let her second uncle take in a concubine. A room full of old ladies and maids looked at each other. If there was a clever one, he would run out to ask for help. Yun Chujio did not mind. At worst, she could turn the Yi residence upside down. In any case, she had to take care of everything every day. Moreover, old Master Yi would not allow Gu Shi to act so recklessly. The interesting footage just now had been recorded. A daughter-in-law who wished for her to die early, old Master Yi would only speak to her unless he had a brain. A wife who wished to kill her granddaughter and ruin her future would only protect her unless her grandfather was kicked in the head by a donkey. Chapter 2294 was simply too weak. Yun Chujio did not like Gu Shi. Although she was not sure if she was the culprit that caused her mother's expulsion, she could tell at a glance that she was not a good person. Torturing her to vent her anger was also good. Therefore, Yun Chujio secretly poked Gusher's sore spot, and Gusher immediately wailed like a ghost. Yun Chujio pouted and said to the people in the room, "To be honest, I only forced her with a knife. I did not hurt her." TSK, the wife of the head of a first-class family? She is simply a shrew. Although the maid in the room was from the Gusher, she also felt that the Gusher was a little embarrassed. "That Mo Fangchao didn't hit or hurt you, so why are you howling? Little bitch. You'll die a horrible death. Just you wait, don't fall into my hands, or it'll kill you. It'll definitely kill you. You're just like that little bitch Yilan. A bitch?" Yun Chujio did not say a word and just let her scold as much as she wanted. After all, the recording stone was recording everything. Gusher was in too much pain, even Yi Yuanliang was filled with hatred. It's all that bitch's fault. She just had to pamper a bitch who had thousands of people riding on thousands of people to sleep with you. Fortunately, my heart is good. Otherwise, there would be no way for US mother and daughter to live. Yun Chujio frowned. From what she heard from Gusher, her grandmother was from a brothel. For a brothel girl to marry into a first-class family, one could imagine the torture she had to endure. Just as Gusher was cursing loudly, an angry shout came from outside. "Slut! Shut up!" Yun Chujio knew that either her grandfather or old Master Yi had arrived, so she secretly put away the large kitchen knife. She jumped to Yi Binjia's side and howled, "Second aunt! Second aunt! SOB, SOB, it's all my fault. I didn't stop old Madame Gu in time. If anything were to happen to you, how would my sister Bingyu live?" Minshi was so angry that she almost turned into a corpse. "What is this little girl singing? So it turns out that I pretended to faint for you?" Yi Bingyu, who was kneeling by the side, was dumbfounded. How could a person be so shameless? However, she would not be foolish enough to expose it. After all, it would be best if she could see that Gusher was unlucky. The person who walked in from outside was Yi Yuanyang. Old Master Yi was out on business. When he received Yi Binjia's voice transmission talisman, he asked Yi Yuanliang to stop Gusher. Yi Yuanliang originally thought that by sending a voice transmission talisman to Gusher, Gusher would be able to restrain herself. Who would have thought that Yi Bingyu would tell him that Gusher wanted to kill Mo Fangchao even more? Only then did Yi Yuanliang rush over. Yi Yuanliang had thought that the first thing he saw when he entered the house was that poor granddaughter being pressed to the ground by everyone and was about to be beaten to death. However, when he saw the situation inside the house, he was a little confused. Gusher's poisonous woman was wailing like a ghost and howling like a wolf. His second daughter-in-law fainted on the ground. Two little girls were crying beside her. Although he had never seen one of them crying with snot and tears in her eyes. But one look and they knew that she was the daughter of the land girl. What on earth was going on? Yun Chujio secretly pinched Minshi. That meant that she should wake up. Otherwise, how could she continue singing? Minshi could only open her eyes. She heard a sharp cry beside her. "Second aunt. You're finally awake." Sob, "Isibi, I thought you were going to die from anger. My poor second aunt." Minshi felt that her acting skills had already reached perfection. After all, the entire Yi family now believed that second madam was the most gentle and weak person. Who would have thought that she could be compared to this niece? Fuck, she was simply too weak. Chapter 2295. Just wait for the divorce papers. Yi Bingyu, who was standing at the side, was already dumbfounded. She had even forgotten to cry. Yun Chujio pinched her and only then did she regain her senses. If she wanted to compete in crying, she definitely would not be able to compete with Yun Chujio. Thus, she simply cried silently. In addition, the rims of her eyes were originally red, which made her even more miserable. When this scene fell into Yi Yuanliang's eyes, he automatically imagined that Gusher had forced his second daughter-in-law, Minshi, to faint, and forced her granddaughter and granddaughter to cry. Yet, this shrew was actually still throwing a tantrum there. She was simply an unreasonable and vicious woman. "Gusher, shut up for me. Or else I'll divorce you." Yi Yuanliang had long been dissatisfied with Gusher. If it wasn't for the fact that he already had children and grandchildren, he would have long divorced Gushir. Gushir sniffled and cried, "Master, I'm going to die of pain. That little girl just used a knife to force my neck. She wants to kill me." Yi Yuanliang glanced at her. "You, this poisonous woman, actually slandered me in order to frame Feng Chao. There isn't a single wound on your body. How could it be so painful? Moreover, you are at the 5th layer of the spiritual void tier, and Feng Chao is only at the 1st layer of the spiritual profound tier. How could she threaten you?" Gushir was anxious. "Master, what I said is absolutely true. If you don't believe me, you can ask them." The old woman who had been kicked out earlier quickly said, "Yes, master. The young lady did use a large kitchen knife to force madam. She even kicked the servant out." Yi Yuanliang turned around and kicked. That unlucky old woman was once again kicked out. This time, she was even more miserable. She directly vomited blood and fainted. "Gushir, do you think I don't know that this room is filled with your people? Naturally, I agree with what you said. I've tolerated you for decades. Now, I don't want to endure any longer. Just wait for your divorce papers. Feng Chao, Bing Yu, help the second son's family members follow me." Yi Yuanliang did not even glance at Gushir after he finished speaking. He directly left the house. Yi Binjia's heart was very complicated. She, her mother, and the old pious woman had fought for so many years. Although she could occasionally gain the upper hand, this was the first time she had won so completely. Seeing the old pious woman almost vomiting blood, it was really great. Although this Mo Feng Chao was a bit of a waste, and although it was a bit detestable, it still had some redeeming qualities. She was simply a sharp weapon to deal with the old pious woman. Just now, she heard that the old pious woman wanted to put her under the name of their second son. If Yi Bingyu had heard this news before, she would definitely not have been happy. But now, it was simply what she wanted. With this big killer weapon, dealing with the old pious woman was simply a piece of cake. She did not think that her grandfather would really divorce the old pious woman. If he could, he would have done so long ago. She reckoned that he would only be grounded for a few days. Yi Yuanliang was both angry and angry. He had always felt guilty towards the Lan family and Yi Lan. Now that his granddaughter was finally found, he did not expect that he would be wrong the moment he arrived. It was all because of that poisonous woman from the Gushir. Yi Yuanliang wanted to ask Yun Chujio about her experiences over the past few years. However, the old master had not asked anything yet, so he could not overstep his boundaries. He could only say, "You guys can go back first. I won't let you suffer for nothing." Min Shi bowed and brought Yi Bingyu and Yun Chujio back to her own courtyard. Min Shi's courtyard was not too far from Yi Binjia's courtyard. She ordered a maid to bring some face-washing water. The three of them washed up and then sat down. Perhaps it was because they had acted together before, Min Shi felt that Yun Chujio was very pleasing to the eye. She smiled and said, "Sister Lan is a beauty. I didn't expect you to be even more beautiful than your mother. You're really a beauty." Chapter 2290 SAX's acting skills were also very good. Second aunt, I like to hear the truth the most. Please praise me a little more, Yun Chujio said shamelessly. Min Shi's face stiffened and she continued to laugh. Your personality is quite different from your mother's. Sister Lan isn't as lively as you. What lively? She's just thick-skinned. Yi Bingyu pouted and said from the side. Min Shi glared at her. Nonsense. If it weren't for your sister Feng Chao, we would have to kneel down again today. Yi Bingyu pouted. Although she was unwilling to admit it, it was all thanks to Yun Chujio today. Otherwise, her mother would have been in a dilemma. She definitely could not offend her great-grandfather. Gushir would make things difficult for her again. In the end, it was all that old devout woman's fault. It would be better if her grandfather divorced her. Second aunt, listen to the old madam. Does the old master want to place me under your and second uncle's name? Yun Chujio asked curiously. Your uncle did mention it to me before. I have no objections. Back then, I was on good terms with Sister Lan. I would naturally be happy to help her take care of you, said Min Shi with a smile. Yun Chujio pursed her lips in her heart. What she said sounded better than what she sang. This Minshi was used to acting. If she was really on good terms with Yilan, Yi Bingyu would not have said that Yilan was a concubine's daughter who had her name removed. However, no matter what, the enemy of the enemy was a friend. It was obvious that the Minshi hated the Gushi. Temporarily forming an alliance was beneficial. Second aunt, I'm really curious. Why was my mother expelled at that time? Yun Chujio asked curiously. Yi Bingyu also widened her eyes. Yes, mother. Why was Aunt Lan expelled at that time? I heard that Aunt Lan was much stronger than Yi Bingying at that time. If she were to apply for the primordial chaos sect, it wouldn't be a problem for her to become an inner sect disciple. Minshi sighed. Feng Chao, it's not that second aunt didn't want to tell you, but it's this matter. Old master had something to say and no one can tell him. If you really want to know when you see old master at night, you can ask him yourself. When Yun Chujio heard what Lady Min said, it was naturally not appropriate for her to ask further. She changed the topic and talked about some other topics. As the three of them were talking, housekeeper Fu came over. Young miss, old master wants you to go over. Yun Chujio nodded. After housekeeper Fu left, she lowered her voice and said to Lady Min and Yi Bingyu, Second aunt, Sister Bingyu, I didn't bring any greeting gifts for you this time. I'll let that old devout woman be locked up for at least a month as a greeting gift. After Yun Chujio finished speaking, she turned around and left with a smile. The Minshi and Yi Bingyu looked at each other. In their hearts, they felt that Yun Chujio's words were somewhat unreliable. It was possible that Gushi would be locked up for 3 to 5 days, but a month was probably impossible, right? On this side, Yun Chujio followed housekeeper Fu to old master Ye's study. Housekeeper Fu, you are well informed. What do you think about what happened at old madam's place today? Yun Chujio said with a smile. Housekeeper Fu stumbled and almost fell to the ground. Even in his dreams, he never thought that Yun Chujio would ask him this question. He wanted to say that he didn't know, but since Yun Chujio asked, he naturally believed that he had spies. Housekeeper Fu could only clench his teeth and say, Miss, you are very skilled. Yes, your acting skills are also very good. Housekeeper Fu, you flatter me. Housekeeper Fu, you are very good at doing things. Your future is boundless. Housekeeper Fu laughed dryly and said a few words modestly. He quickened his pace, afraid that this great aunt would have another problem. Chapter 2297. Confrontation. When he saw old master Ye's courtyard door, housekeeper Fu finally felt relieved. After a maid passed the message, housekeeper Fu accompanied Yun Chujio into old master Ye's study. Old master Yi waved his hand at housekeeper Fu. Housekeeper Fu tactfully took his leave. Yun Chujio was surprised to see old master Ye's appearance. She thought old master Yi was an old man, but he actually looked about the same age as Mo, shouting, the higher the spiritual power, the better the maintenance. As Yun Chujio sized up old master Yi also sized her up. When he saw Yun Chujio's face, he couldn't help but be shocked. She was indeed 70% similar to Lan Lan. Thinking of Yi Lan, old master Yi looked a little disappointed. Yun Chujio glanced at old master Yi without changing her expression. She was a little confused. He had a complicated expression on his face. There was joy, sadness, disappointment, and anger. These emotions were not directed at her, but at her mother. Logically speaking, how could a daughter of a concubine who had been removed from the family be so important to the master of the Yi family? Yun Chujio followed the principle of not being moved by the enemy. She just stood there obediently and did not say anything. She wanted to see what this old fox was planning. Old Master Ye's complicated expression only flashed past for a moment before returning to his expressionless face. It was as if it was just Yun Chujio's misconception. Sit down. Old Master Yi pointed to a chair at the side. Yun Chujio naturally did not stand on ceremony. She sat on the chair, looking like a well-behaved child. I heard that you suffered a lot in the Qingxian continent. Do you resent the Mo family and our Yi family? Old Master Yi did not mention the matter of Gushi, but asked a question that Yun Chujio could not answer. In answer to Old Master Yi, although I am an adopted daughter, the Yun family regards me as their own child and treats me very well. As for the matter of not being able to cultivate, that is just God's training for me. There is nothing to complain about. Yun Chujio said with a faint smile. Old Master Yi's eyes flashed with a bright light. What a sharp-tongued little girl. She did not answer his question directly. Her words seemed to be open-minded, but in fact, she used the Yun family to contrast the Mo family and the Yi family's ruthlessness. If I want to put you under your second uncle's name, what do you think? Old Master Yi said expressionlessly. Although Yun Chujio had already learned about this matter from the Minshi, she was still a little surprised. It was common for step-in-law brothers or descendants of the same clan to be their children. It was really rare for such a step-in-law to marry a daughter out of wedlock. Moreover, her mother was a step-by-step daughter who had her name removed. No matter how she looked at this matter, it felt strange. Old Master Yi's eyes stared intently at Yun Chujio's face, wanting to see her reaction. However, he was disappointed. Other than rolling her eyes, the little girl did not have any other special expression. Old Master Yi, I'm very grateful for your kindness. However, my father is still alive and my father's family can still maintain their livelihood. Why did you take me into the Yi family? According to what I know, my mother's name was removed by the Yi family back then. Yun Chujio raised her head and looked straight into Old Master Yi's eyes. She said slowly. Old Master Yi did not expect Yun Chujio to actually ask him the reason directly. He smiled. You must know that if you are recorded under your second uncle's name, you are the first-class family's daughter-in-law. Regardless of whether it is for your future development or getting married, it will be of great benefit. As for the reason, you have the blood of the Yi family flowing in your body. Wouldn't it be logical for you to be registered under the name of the Yi family? As for your father's family, you don't have to worry. I will send someone to inform them. They will definitely not object. Chapter 2298. The Truth of Yi Land's Expulsion Pui. Who are you trying to fool? However, there was one thing that was certain. If the Yi family sent someone to tell the Mo family would definitely agree to it. Even if they had 100 guts, they would not only be going against the Yi family. Old Master Yi, I wonder if this matter is set in stone, or if you want my opinion? No matter how you think about it, there's no reason for you to disagree, is there? Old Master Yi stared at Yun Chujio with a profound gaze, and his fingers could not help but knock on the table. Old Master Yi, what you said makes sense. Regardless of whether I'm willing or not, it seems that this matter must be carried out. I only have one request. I want to know the truth of my mother's expulsion back then. Yun Chujio looked straight at Old Master Yi with clear eyes. Since there was no room for negotiation, then he had to strive for the greatest benefit. Old Master Yi seemed to have expected Yun Chujio to say this. He did not look surprised at all and drank a mouthful of tea instead. He sighed. Lan is a genius that has appeared in our Yi family for many generations. Our Yi family has placed great hopes on her. Therefore, even though she is only a concubine's daughter, she has obtained the best resources in the Yi family. Otherwise, she wouldn't have moved into Xiaohua Garden. Our plan for her is to enter the primordial chaos sect and glorify our Yi family. When Old Master Yi said this, his expression became gentle, and his eyes were filled with longing. Yun Chujio knew that there would definitely be a turning point in the future. Otherwise, her mother would not have been expelled. Because of Lan's beautiful appearance and outstanding talent, many families expressed their intention to marry her. Even the Fan family, a super family tens of thousands of miles away, sent people to act as matchmakers for their eldest young master, Fan Jichuan. When we learned that the Fan family came to visit, we were naturally overjoyed. At that time, your mother was out training and was not at home. She did not reply even when I sent her a voice transmission talisman. On one hand, I sent people to look for your mother. On the other hand, I sent people to investigate Fan Jiquan's situation. The people who asked for information reported that not only was Fan Jichuan a talented person, but he also did not have any bad hobbies. We were afraid that we would miss this marriage of the Fan family, so we agreed to this marriage without hesitation. I believe that your mother would not disagree. Yun Chujio sneered in her heart. What do you mean you would not disagree? It was all because your Yi family took a liking to the Fan family's family background and did not consider whether Yi Lan liked it or not. Great-grandfather Yi took a sip of his tea and continued. The two families exchanged the Gung invitation and decided to get married in the spring of the second year. Fan Jichuan is going to participate in the primordial chaos sex test anyway. At that time, the two of them can support each other. 1 month later, your mother returned. After hearing about this matter, she refused to agree to this marriage no matter what. I asked her the reason and she said that she already has someone she likes. I asked her who that person was, but she refused to tell me. I thought she was throwing a tantrum and locked her in the courtyard in a fit of anger, not allowing her to come out. When the Fan family heard that the Lan girl had returned, Fan Jichuan came over to visit, so I also lifted the Lan girl's grounding. When Fan Jichuan saw the Lan girl, he was very fond of her. At that time I was very happy. I thought that the two young people would develop feelings after spending a few days together, and the Lan girl's slight awkwardness would disappear. I didn't expect that. When old Master Yi said this, he seemed to be a little embarrassed to speak. He gulped down a mouthful of tea before saying, I didn't expect that Wan, who is Lan's eldest sister, also took a liking to that Fan Jichuan. That Fan Jichuan just had to be a philandering seed. He did not reject Wan's goodwill. Chapter 2299. The truth of Yi Lan's expulsion. When Yun Chujio heard great-grandfather Yi say this, she immediately imagined a scene of the eldest daughter framing the daughter of a concubine and snatching the man of her dreams. Damn it, if it was really Ji Shi and her daughter who framed her mother, she would not forgive them. Just as Yun Chujio was thinking, great-grandfather Yi gulped down another mouthful of tea, then he said with a stiff face, in a few days, the Lan girl blocked that Fan Jichuan and the Wan girl on the bed and caused a huge ruckus. She even threatened to kill this pair of them. The Fan family took a fancy to the Lan girl. Why would they marry the Wan girl? Even if she was the daughter of the first wife, it would not work. Hence, the Fan family proposed to marry the big and give away the small. That was to marry the Lan girl as the main wife and let the Wan girl be the side chamber. The Lan girl would not agree no matter what. Not only did she beat up the Fan family's lobbyist, but she also beat Fan Jichuan half to death. Later on, she lay in bed for half a year before she recovered. The Fan family was naturally unwilling to let it go. The Lan girl told me that in order not to implicate the Yi family, she would rather be expelled from the Yi family and never appear in the Eastern continent again. Great-grandfather Yi let out a long sigh. When you heard this, did you feel that your mother had suffered a great injustice? Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and did not comment. She knew that great-grandfather Yi still had a future. Great-grandfather Yi snorted coldly. The rest of the Yi family also thought so, but didn't they think that the Lan girl was extremely intelligent? How could she be so reckless? All of this was planned by Lan alone. It was she who single-handedly made Wan and Fan Jichuan get together. Her goal was to leave the Yi family. I didn't expect that the granddaughter that I carefully nurtured would actually trick me. At that time I was both angry and sad. I could only agree to her request and gather everyone in the Yi family to remove Lan's name. Yun Chujio's eyes were wide open. She could not help but clap her hands in praise for Yi Lan. This little character was really too rare. Decisive, ruthless, and bold. However, what old Foxy said was definitely not true. There was definitely some anger and sadness, but most of it was probably to protect the Yi family. After all, if the Fan family really wanted to pursue this matter, the Yi family would not be able to bear it. They could only abandon the pawn to protect the carriage. Yun Chujio stood up and took out a teacup. She shamelessly picked up old Master Yes' teapot and poured a cup of water. Then what happened after that? Old Master Yes' expression stiffened. He continued. After that, the Fan family married the Wan girl as a concubine. This incident was considered to have passed. After a few years, I secretly sent people to inquire about the news of the Lan girl. When I found out that she had passed away, I was disheartened and did not pay attention to the Mo family's matters anymore. Yun Chujio sipped a cup of tea and poured another. She asked with a faint smile, "Then aren't you afraid that the Fan family will bring up the Yi family again after you brought me back?" Great-grandfather Yi smiled and said, "It has been almost 20 years. In addition, Lan has passed away. The Fan family will not come looking for trouble again. Moreover, Wan's fate is good. After Fan Jiquan's wife died, she was promoted. The Fan Mingchuan that she gave birth to was favored by the head of the Fan family. The Fan family will not bring up the past again." Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. She said it easily. Although Yi Wan had begged for mercy, it was inevitable that she would be jealous of her niece who looked very similar to Yi Lan. She might have some sinister tricks up her sleeve. Moreover, that old devout woman from the Gushi clearly saw her as a thorn in her side. Perhaps the person who had tried to kill her before was from the Gushi sect. The Yi family was not a good place either. However, even if they did not enter the Yi family, if that Gushi and Yi Wan really wanted to deal with her, they would also make a move. It was better to use the Yi family as an umbrella. Yun Chujio thought of this and asked with a smile, "Old Master Yi, since you have already said so much, if I continue to refuse, it will appear that I am too insensible. However, I have a request. I hope that you will agree to it." Chapter 2300. My name is Yun Chujio. Old Master Yi frowned slightly. "What request?" "It's fine to record it under second uncle's name, but I don't want to change my surname. I also don't want to be called Mo Fangchao. Can I still call my original name Yun Chujio? And I don't want to change my name either. Let's talk about it from my mother. I'll call her whatever I should." "Sure, as you wish. Since you've agreed, I'll officially introduce you to everyone tomorrow morning. From now on, you'll be a member of the Yi family." Great-grandfather Yi had never taken a liking to the Mo family, much less what kind of lousy name he had given them. Where in the world would there be plenty of fish in the sea? As for the way he addressed her, it didn't matter. Not changing the way he addressed her was easier for everyone to accept. The two of them chatted for a while more before Old Master Yi waved his hand to signal for Yun Chujio to leave. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and did not move. Old Master Yi frowned and asked, "What else do you want?" Yun Chujio solemnly bowed to Old Master Yi and said, "Little Jio greets great-grandfather. Little Jio is young and ignorant. If you are reckless in the future, please protect me." Great-grandfather Yi could not describe the feeling in his heart. He waved his hand. "As long as you are obedient, I will naturally send you a bright future. Go out." Yun Chujio still did not move. Instead, she smiled and took out a recording stone. "Great-grandfather, I believe you have heard about what happened this afternoon. However, what others reported and what they heard are still different. I happened to record the incident. You can relieve your boredom when you are free." After Yun Chujio finished speaking, she bowed and obediently left. Old Master Yi leaned back on the chair and did not move for a long time. This little girl was able to bend and stretch. Although her aptitude was not comparable to that of Lan Girl, her personality was able to accomplish things. It seemed that bringing her back was the right thing to do. Perhaps there would be some fortuitous encounter. Old Master Yi picked up the recording stone, and Gu Shi's sharp and unkind voice came from within. "If I say one more thing, the Yi family will be mine to decide sooner or later." Old Master Yi was so angry that he broke the teapot and the teacup into pieces. Housekeeper Fu, who was outside, was so scared that he trembled. Could it be that Miss Cousin had angered Old Master Yi? But when she saw Miss Cousin coming out, she was very happy. What on earth was going on? Yun Chujio had just left the great elder's courtyard when she saw Yi Bingyu stretching her neck and looking around. It was obvious that she was waiting for her. Yun Chujio could not help but laugh at herself. She did not expect that she and Yi Bingyu would really become sisters after going through so many twists and turns. It was really a bad fate. Yi Bingyu grabbed Yun Chujio and said in a low voice, "What did great-grandfather say to you? Did he say that he would put you under my father's name?" Yun Chujio nodded, then a bright smile appeared on her small face. "Sister Bingyu, My new identity document will be issued soon. Don't call me Mo Fangchao anymore. I want to return to my previous name. Yun Chujio, you can just call me Little Jio. Yun Chujio let out a long breath. She could finally get rid of the stupid name of Mo Fangchao. She had already thought it through. When she had a firm foothold in the Yi family, she would find Mo Cheng and ask him about the circumstances of her mother's marriage to him and the cause of her death. If it had nothing to do with the Mo family, then it would be fine. But if it was really the Mo family that harmed her mother, she did not care about blood ties or not, she would not spare Mo Cheng. As for the Yi family, if what old Master Yi said was true, then the Yi family could be kept for now. If there were any discrepancies, she would not let her mother suffer in vain. Chapter 2301, Yi Lan's Birth Mother, Little Jio? That sounds like a little girl from a village. It suits you quite well. Yi Bingyu thought that it would be good to change her name. Otherwise, whenever she thought of the name Mo Fangchao, she would feel uncomfortable all over and would grit her teeth in hatred. Sister Bingyu, tell me about the composition of the Yi family so that I can be mentally prepared. After all, if I make a fool of myself tomorrow, our second branch will not be proud, right? Yun Chujio had a good point. She could quickly adapt to her new identity. The two of them chatted as they walked. Yun Chujio had a general understanding of the members of the Yi family. Although the Yi family was a large family, the children of the direct branch were not very prosperous. The old master of the Yi family only had one son, Yi Yuanliang. Yi Yuanliang was also Yun Chujio's grandfather. Yi Yuanliang's wife, Gu Shi, gave birth to two sons and a daughter for him. The eldest, Yi Zhihui, married Lu Shi and had a son and a daughter, only Yi Wenhong and Yi Bingying. The second, Yi Xiong, married Min Shi and only had a daughter, Yi Bingyu. Gu Shi's daughter was the servant girl that the old master called Wan. Her full name was Yi Xinwan. Yi Lan's full name was Yi Xinlan. However, she felt that calling Yi Lan sounded better, so she took the initiative to change her name to Yi Lan. Since she was favored in the Yi family, it was up to her. Yi Lan's birth mother, the Lan family, was Yi Yuanliang's side chamber. It was said that she bought it in the furnace hall. Therefore, even if Yi Lan was favored, the Lan family's status in the mansion was very average due to their low status. Later on, they fell seriously ill and lost their status. This was probably one of the reasons why Yi Lan was eliminated from the Yi family. After all, her mother was no longer around. Yun Chujio subconsciously thought of Lan Luochen. This surname was very rare. However, the Lan family was from the Tianyuan continent, so it should not have anything to do with her grandmother. Yi Bingyu kissed her lips. Fortunately, Yun Chujio's brain was good. Otherwise, she would not have been able to remember all these people. Oh right, Mo, Little Jio, didn't you brag about grounding that old woman for a month? Did you tell great-grandfather? Yi Bingyu asked expectantly. Yun Chujio smiled mysteriously. He'll know tomorrow morning. Don't worry, I've always been the most reliable in handling matters. Yi Bingyu was skeptical, but she remembered another important matter, and her expression turned serious. Yun Chujio, I know that you have a powerful backer. However, if you want to harm our Yi family, I'm not done with you. Even if I have to risk my own life, I'll still kill you. Yun Chujio could not help but sigh. Even the most detestable person had their own loveliness. This Yi Bingyu was arrogant and despotic, ruthless and merciless, but she treated her family well. Sister Bingyu, you are really thinking too much. From now on, I am your sister, and I am a member of the Yi family. Why would I harm the Yi family? I can't wait for the Yi family to become a super aristocratic family. I can even borrow some money from them. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Yi Bingyu thought about it and agreed. She was now a member of the Yi family. She would only go against the Yi family if she was mentally ill. The two of them returned to Yi Bingjia's courtyard. Yi Bingyu was worried. Where should Yun Chujio stay at night? Although she didn't hate her so much now, she still couldn't accept sleeping on the same bed as her. I'll sleep in a side room. I'll move into Xiaohua Garden tomorrow, Yun Chujio said with a smile. Yi Bingyu originally wanted to live in peace with Yun Chujio, however, she couldn't help but ask, Yun Chujio, is there something wrong with your brain? Let me tell you, that old woman dotes on Yi Bingying the most, and her great-grandfather and grandfather also think highly of her. Why would they let her give Xiaohua Garden to you? Chapter 2302, The Little Flame Who Did Bad Things. Sister Bingyu, it's better to do it well than to say it well. Just wait and see the result. There are probably a lot of rooms in Xiaohua Garden. When the time comes, we'll live together. If anyone treats me better, I'll treat her very well, Yun Chujio said with a smile. Yi Bingyu didn't expect Yun Chujio to say that. She was a little touched, and her expression was a little unnatural. She shouted to the outside of the room, Lu Li, give the side room to little sister Jio. Little sister Jio? Yun Chujio could not help but secretly laugh in her heart. This Yi Bingyu really changed fast. Yun Chujio did not hate Yi Bingyu as much as before. The Min family was often tortured by the Gu family. If Yi Bingyu was not more forceful, those servants would probably ride on her head. However, Yun Chujio was even more unable to guess old Master Ye's intentions. The second wife did not have a son. Even if she wanted to succeed, she should have succeeded with a boy. What use was there for her to succeed? Or could it be that the second uncle was easier to talk to than the first uncle, so he gave her to the second wife? Yun Chujio could not understand, so she decided not to think about it. Anyway, she had always believed that if someone did not offend her, she would not offend them. If someone offended her, she would kill them. After Yun Chujio washed up, she first reported to Jin Ji that she was safe. Then, she laid on the bed and thought about the Yi family. While she was half asleep, Yun Chujio felt that her right palm was burning. She raised her hand and saw that the dim flame mark had become beautiful. It was as if the flame inside was about to burst out of her palm. While Yun Chujio was stunned, the flame actually jumped out of Yun Chujio's right palm and went out through the gap in the door. Yun Chujio was dumbfounded. Back then, she couldn't get the damn flame out no matter how hard she tried. Why did it come out by itself this time? Just as Yun Chujio was in a daze, the flame flew back and danced up and down a few times. Its intention was obvious, and it wanted Yun Chujio to follow it. Yun Chujio pointed at herself. Are you sure? My spiritual power is so low. Won't I alert the guards the moment I go out? It's better for you to go out alone, no, with the flame. The flame trembled. Apparently, it felt that what Yun Chujio said made sense. With a whoosh, it flew out again. Yun Chujio got off the bed and looked out through the crack of the door. She saw that the flame had disappeared. She did not know where it had flown to. Yun Chujio touched her chin. It did not look like it had abandoned her. It seemed like it was looking for something or doing something. What could a flame do? Could it be that it was a male and had gone to look for the mother flame? And then it would create a small flame? Yun Chujio was sitting by the bed, and just as her imagination was running wild, the flame flew back and entered Yun Chujio's right palm. Yun Chujio did not know if it was an illusion, but she felt that the flame seemed to be bigger than before. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. She thought that the small flame must have done something bad. Yun Chujio lay on the bed again. Not long after, she heard a commotion outside, saying something about losing something. Yun Chujio curled her lips. She did not know what the little flame had eaten. Anyway, she would know tomorrow. Go to sleep. The next day, when she woke up, Yi Bingyu came over gloatingly. Hey, let me tell you something happy. The 1,000-year-old fire marrow that my uncle collected with great difficulty was gone. I heard that the 1,000-year-old fire marrow was most likely intelligent, so he ran away by himself. My uncle almost went crazy with anger. Ha! Yun Chujio looked shocked, but she was rolling around with laughter in her heart. How was the 1,000-year-old fire marrow intelligent? It was stolen. No wonder it felt a little bigger. It turned out that after swallowing the 1,000-year-old fire marrow, it really had the potential to be a foodie. Chapter 2303, 1,000-year-old fire marrow. Yun Chujio glanced at Yi Bingyu. Sister Bingyu, why do I feel like you're gloating? Yi Bingyu pursed her lips. You don't know. My uncle and aunt bullied my father and mother many times because of that old woman. Only cousin Wenhong is better in the big house. The other three aren't good people. It is said that this 1,000-year-old fire marrow was prepared by my uncle to give to a small leader of the primordial chaos sect. This way, Yi Bingying will be taken care of when she takes the entrance test. I didn't expect that she would run away on her own. This is karma. Yun Chujio nodded, but she was still puzzled. Shouldn't the 1,000-year-old fire marrow be kept in the storage ring? How could it be gone? Besides, could it have been stolen? Yi Bingyu looked at her with disdain. You're really a country bumpkin. How can the storage ring withstand the 1,000-year-old fire marrow's heat? Only a special kind of ice silk net can withstand it for a few days. After Uncle came back, he put the 1,000-year-old fire marrow in the cellar in his yard. There was a formation around it to isolate the heat and prevent people from stealing it. If someone stole it, there wouldn't be no trace of it. Therefore, the 1,000-year-old fire marrow must have gained sentience and ran away by itself. It really deserved it. Yi Bingyu felt that ever since Yun Chujio came, everything that had happened had been beneficial to the two of them. Since that was the case, she would not pursue the past. Yun Chujio secretly laughed in her heart. Since they thought that the 1,000-year-old fire marrow was something that she had run away on her own, it was best to avoid being traced back to her. After the two of them had breakfast, Yi Bingyu said, "Let's go. We're not welcomed. If we're late, that old woman will definitely find fault with us again." Yun Chujio smiled slyly. "Sister Bingyu, let's not go to the meeting hall. Let's go to great-grandfather's courtyard." Yi Bingyu frowned. "Are you planning to curry favor with great-grandfather? I advise you to save your breath." Yi Bingying had previously been eagerly delivering tea and pastries, but in the end she was chased out by great-grandfather, causing her to be covered in dirt. "If you want to go, go yourself. I'm not going to be a burden." "Alright, if you want to be scolded by Gushur, go to the meeting hall. I reckon that old woman has already thought of a way to deal with us. I advise you to send someone to inform second aunt and have her go to the meeting hall. In any case, she fainted yesterday. Her body must be very weak." Yi Bingyu thought for a moment and felt that what Yun Chujio said made sense. Yesterday, that old woman suffered such a huge loss. Today, she would definitely find her way back. She said to the maid, "Lily, go and inform my mother." Yun Chujio was not worried about Minshur at all. She was a skilled actress and would definitely know what to do. Yun Chujio and Yi Bingyu came to the outside of Old Master Ye's courtyard. The maid wanted to go in and report, but Yun Chujio stopped her with a smile. "Sister Ton, well, just wait here for great-grandfather. You don't have to go in and report. Miss Cousin, you can just call me Tsuelon in the future. Since the two of you don't want to disturb Old Master, then I won't go in and report." Chui Luan was very surprised. Firstly, she didn't expect this miss to be so polite to her. Secondly, she didn't expect this miss to know her name. Yun Chujio nodded with a smile and pulled Yi Bingyu to wait by the side. The reason why she knew Chui Luan's name was because she heard housekeeper Fu and Chui Luan talking yesterday. Yi Bingyu really couldn't figure out Yun Chujio's thoughts. Since she was here to curry favor, why didn't she go in? Was she afraid of being scolded by her great-grandfather? Chapter 23:04 Brazenly vying for favor. After a while, the door creaked open and Old Master Yi walked out. Old Master Yi was rather surprised to see them. Yun Chujio said clearly, "Great-grandfather, Sister Bingyu and I have come to pay our respects to you." The corners of Yi Binjia's mouth twitched. Pay our respects? She had never heard of anyone paying their respects as a wooden stake outside. Old Master Yi was also stunned. "Since you're here to greet them, why don't you guys go in?" "Great-grandfather, this is the first time I'm greeting you, so I don't know your rules, for fear of offending you. So, I'll wait outside with Sister Bingyu. Anyway, as long as you understand our filial piety, well, be satisfied." Everyone present was stunned. Wasn't this guy too shameless? How is this a greeting? This was clearly a competition for favor. Moreover, it was a blatant competition for favor. Although old Master Yi had quite a few juniors and had once had the idea of fawning over him, coming over to deliver tea and pastries or come over to ask questions, this was the first time such a shameless and blatant competition for favor was happening. Therefore, old Master Yi was also a little stunned for a moment. He subconsciously nodded and took the lead to walk towards the meeting hall. Yi Bingyu was already stunned. She was pulled by Yun Chujio before she followed behind old Master Yi in a daze. Yun Chujio's lowered eyes were full of light. Did she really think that she was flattering him? Was being personally brought to the meeting hall by old Master Yi the same as being foolish and waiting for comments? Of course, it would be great if the flattery was successful. At this moment, in the Yi family's meeting hall, Gu Shi was furious. Yesterday, she was in so much pain, but the doctor said that nothing had happened. She had been tormenting herself for half a night before the pain finally subsided. In her heart, she wished that she could kill Yun Chujio to vent her anger. Second brother, I'm not talking about you as a mother. Look at how your wife and Bingyu are like. I'm already here as an elder, but they're not here yet. And that's so-called Mo Fangchao. She's simply a bitch without any family education. Later, when your grandfather proposes to put her under your second son's name, you definitely can't agree to it. Do you hear me? Yi Zhiyong said awkwardly, Mother, the Yi family is Fang Keo's maternal family, and she has suffered so much. Before Yi Zhiyong could finish his words, Jishir slapped the table. Shut up. How could I have given birth to such a useless piece of trash like you? You didn't even dare to take in a concubine, and now you're turning your back on others. I'm so angry. My head hurts. Yi Zhiyong immediately panicked when he heard Gu Shi's cry, and he didn't know what to say. Yi Zhihui's wife, Lu Shi, said while massaging Ji Shi's temple, Mother, don't be angry. Second brother will definitely listen to you. There's no reason for him to make his mother angry for some unknown little girl. Besides, that Mo Fangchao is really too outrageous. Not only does she look down on you, I heard that she even wants to drive Bing Ying out of Xiaohua Garden. Nonsense. How can a cheap bastard like her compare to Bing Ying? If we let her live in Xiaohua Garden, the old woman will be the first to disagree. Gu Shi said angrily. Lu Shi gave a look to the woman in white at the side. The woman in white immediately said, Grandmother, Xiaohua Garden was Aunt Lan's courtyard to begin with. If she insists, I'll give it to her. Gu Shi became even angrier when she heard that. Don't even think about it. Unless I die, that bastard will never chase you out of Xiaohua Garden. Lu Shi and Yi Bingying exchanged a look. An outsider bastard still wanted Xiaohua Garden? It was simply wishful thinking. After chapter 23:05 was the Yi family Yiyong side in his heart. Although he was honest, he was not stupid. How could he not see that Gu Shi did not like him? Even his wife and daughter were implicated. He really could not understand. They were both biological sons. Why was he not liked by Gu Shi? Just then, Min Shi walked in with a pale face. One look and it was obvious that her body was weak. Yi Zhiyong could not help but feel pain in his heart. He quickly went forward to support Min Shi. Just as Gu Shi was about to flare up, Yi Yuanliang and Yi Zhihui walked in. Both of their expressions were not very good. Yi Yuanliang was because of the Gu Shi matter, and Yi Zhihui was because of the 1,000-year-old fire marrow matter. Gu Shi was afraid that Yi Yuanliang would look for her to settle the score from yesterday, so she did not dare to speak anymore. However, she glared fiercely at Yi Zhiyong. Her meaning was self-evident. She warned him not to agree to the succession. Yi Yuanliang didn't even glance at Gu Shi. He sat on the right-hand side of the main seat. In the immortal Yuan continent, the right was revered. Therefore, when the Yi family was discussing matters, it was always the men who sat on the right and the women on the left. Naturally, it wasn't good for Lu Shi to massage Yi Shi anymore. She twisted her waist and sat on the seat next to Gu Shi. Yi Bingying sat next to Lu Shi. Min Shi sat next to Yi Bingying. According to common sense, Min Shi should sit next to Lu Shi. After all, Yi Bingying was a junior. However, Yi Bingying relied on her favor and always sat like this. No one said anything. For a moment, the room was completely silent. At this moment, a maid shouted, "The old master is here." Everyone stood up and looked towards the door. They saw the old master walking at the front with two young girls following behind him. One of them was Yi Bingyu while the other young girl walked over slowly. They could not help but have an illusion, Yi Lan is back? The anger in Gu Shi's heart rose immediately. She wished that she could strangle Yun Chujio to death. However, the old master Yi had accumulated a lot of power. Even if she hated him to death, she did not dare to show it on the surface. Yun Chujio followed behind the old master Yi. It was as if she was a fox taking advantage of the tiger's power. This fellow was proud in his heart. It felt good to follow a big backer in. No one dared to give this young lady any face. Yi Bingyu saw that there was nothing wrong with her mother and heaved a sigh of relief in her heart. It had to be said that although this Yun Chujio was a little useless, the bad water was still quite effective. Yi Bingyu gave Yun Chujio a look and then stood beside the Minshi. Yun Chujio stood in the middle and did not move. She was the main character today. Before Old Master Yi gave her a status, it was naturally not good for her to take a seat. After Old Master Yi took a seat, everyone bowed and greeted him. Old Master Yi waved his hand and everyone took their seats again. Old Master Yi went straight to the point and said, "I think all of you know that little ninth girl is the daughter of Lan girl. Although Lan girl was removed from our Yi family's name, you all know the truth of what happened back then. Little Nine suffered a lot, and she has the blood of our Yi family flowing through her body. It was really too unfair in the Mo family, so I decided to put her under Ziyang's name. Don't use the name that the Mo family gave her. Just use her previous name, Yun Chujio. You can call her Little Nine. As for how to address her, it's still up to Little Lan. You can call her whatever you want. Little Nine, you should greet everyone." Yun Chujio's eyes curved as she first bowed to Old Master Yi. Little Nine greets great-grandfather. I wish great-grandfather eternal happiness and longevity. Little Nine will definitely be filial to you in the future. Chapter 2306 Golden Sky Umbrella. Get up. Great-grandfather Yi nodded his head in gratification. This little ninth girl was really sweet-talking. Yun Chujio stood up, but she blinked her eyes and did not say anything. Great-grandfather Yi thought to himself that this child looked quite smart, but why did she suddenly become stupid? He could only cough dryly. Greet your grandfather. Yun Chujio used her hand to tug at the corner of her clothes and said somewhat bashfully, Great-grandfather, are you not satisfied with me? Is there something I did wrong? Old Master Yi was stunned. Where did you say that from? Great-grandfather, I heard that the first time I pay my respects to an elder, the elder would reward me with a meeting gift. Why don't you reward me? Do you not like me? Yun Chujio's eyes were slightly red as she said in an aggrieved manner. Everyone's faces were stiff. This was a blatant request for a gift. Wasn't this guy too shameless? Old Master Yi was stunned. His wife had passed away long ago, so no one reminded him about these trivial matters. Hearing Yun Chujio say this, his old face blushed. He reached out and took out a small umbrella. I wasn't thoughtful about this matter. I'll give this golden light sky umbrella to you. Everyone in the Yi family was shocked. Yi Zhihui said exasperatedly, Grandfather, this golden sky umbrella is a high-grade defensive immortal artifact. How can you give it to her? Yun Chujio's eyes flashed. This uncle of hers was obviously not something. If you don't give it to me, do you think I'll give it to you? Shameless. Gu Shi was obviously very dissatisfied with this, but she didn't dare to say anything. She only stared at Yun Chujio viciously. If her gaze could kill, Yun Chujio would probably be a sieve. Great-grandfather Yi looked at Yi Zhihui unhappily. Why is it inappropriate for me to give the golden light sky umbrella to little Jiu? Yi Zhihui felt that he had lost his composure just now. He stood up and said respectfully, Grandfather, I don't have any other intentions. It's just that the golden light sky umbrella is a high-grade defensive immortal artifact that is too valuable. Little Jiu's spiritual power is also too low. This is like a child holding gold in the market. If it brings disaster, it won't be good. Great-grandfather Yi felt that what Yi Zhihui said made sense. He wanted to put the golden light sky umbrella into his storage ring and exchange it for another gift when he heard Yun Chujia's crisp voice. "Thank you, great-grandfather, for your gift. Don't worry, I'll definitely keep it well. I'll only take out this golden light sky umbrella unless my life is in danger. I believe that no outsiders will know about this matter. After all, no one in this room will tell anyone else." Great-grandfather Yi laughed and scolded, "All right. It seems that we can't refuse this. Take it." "Thank you, great-grandfather." Yun Chujio took the golden sky umbrella and kept it into her storage ring. She cursed in her heart. What the fuck, how could the fat in her mouth make it fly away? Although Yi Zhihui's expression was normal, he was extremely dissatisfied with great-grandfather Yi. Back then he had doted on Yilan. It was not easy for Yilan to die, and now he doted on this little bastard. He was really old and muddle-headed. Yun Chujio did not care what he was thinking in his heart. She greeted Yi Yuanliang with a smile. With old Master Yi taking the lead, Yi Yuanliang naturally would not be empty-handed. He rewarded Yun Chujio with a low-grade defensive immortal artifact. Although Gu Shi and the others were extremely envious, they did not dare to say anything. Each and every one of them still gritted their teeth and rewarded Yun Chujio with a greeting gift. When it was Yi Bingying's turn, Yi Bingying said with a faint smile, "Little sister Jiao, I know that you've suffered a lot in the past, but our Yi family is a first-class family, so you can't be so narrow-minded. You have to change in the future." Chapter 2307. Proud and unyielding Gu Shi could not help but feel satisfied in her heart. Bingying was indeed intelligent. In any case, they were sisters of the same generation, so it would not be too much to say anything. It was just the right time to humiliate this cheap bastard, making the old master dislike her. Gu Shi and the others gloated as they looked at Yun Chujio. Yi Bingyu could not help but worry for Yun Chujio in her heart. It was over, it was over. Although she had obtained something, her great-grandfather would probably not like it if Yi Bingying talked about it. Old Master Yi picked up the teacup and drank the tea. It was obvious that he did not intend to make a sound. He wanted to see how Yun Chujio would deal with it. For a moment, other than the sound of Old Master Yi drinking tea, there was complete silence. Yun Chujio widened her eyes and looked at Yi Bingying in shock. Then, tears fell one by one. "Sister Bingying, how can you say this to me? Although I have lived in the Qingxian continent for many years, I have never had to worry about food and clothing. Moreover, after returning to the Mo family, I helped my grandfather think of many ways to earn money. Usually, the pocket money that my grandfather gave me was tens of millions of high-grade spirit stones. I didn't lack money at all. The reason why I accepted these gifts was because I wanted to obtain the recognition of my relatives. Could it be that you guys didn't like the gifts that I gave you? Could it be that you guys gave them to me out of charity? Could it be that you guys treated me as a beggar? Since that's the case, you guys can take these gifts back. I don't dare to take them anymore." As Yun Chujio spoke, she returned the gifts she received from her storage ring to everyone one by one. She said stubbornly, "Although I, Yun Chujio, don't have high spiritual power, I have my mother's pride. In the future, I won't ask for a single spiritual stone from the Yi family. In the future, I will pay the spiritual stone for everything I eat, wear, and use." Old Master Yi slammed the table. "Little Jiao, what are you doing?" he scolded. The elders would not refuse. "Quickly put away the gifts. Since little Jiao has already been recorded in the name of the Yi family, she is a member of the Yi family. In the future, if anyone says anything else, the family will punish them." After Old Master Yi said that, he shot a cold glance at Yi Bingying. Yi Bingying's face flushed red and her hands were tightly clenched. She had always been the most favored among the younger generation of the Yi family. Who would have thought that this little bitch would not only covet Xiaohua Garden, but also... He even made great-grandfather dislike her. It was really detestable. Yun Chujio pursed her lips and could only put the gift back into her storage ring. Humph, she did not really intend to give it up in the first place. With great-grandfather Yes' final decision, the matter of the meeting gift was over. Great-grandfather Yi pointed at the seat next to Yi Bingyu and said, "Little Jiao, you can sit next to Bingyu from now on." Yun Chujio nodded obediently and then glanced at Old Master Yi. She wanted to say something but hesitated. In short, it was as if she wanted to say something, but if you don't want me to say it, then I won't say it. Little Jiao, do you still have something to say? Old Master Yi frowned and thought to himself, this little Jiao has too many things to say. So what? He was a little unhappy in his heart. Yun Chujio bit her lips and stomped her foot. Great-grandfather, I originally didn't want to say it, but since you've asked, you'll have to say it even at the risk of offending someone. Just now, Sister Bingying said that our Yi family is a first-class family and is second to none in the Eastern continent. However, since it's a big family, it should have the rules of a big family. Otherwise, if outsiders see it, they'll definitely laugh at our Yi family for not understanding the seniority of elders and having no rules. Gu Shi had already endured for half a day. Now, she really couldn't endure it anymore. She angrily said, "Your father's family is nothing more than a distant branch of a third-class family. He actually said that our Yi family doesn't have rules. What a joke." You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.